My advice for year 12 is to run away from everything. Hey, another video from me in Presence. My name is Presence and Presence is present. Please give a like and subscribe to Presence because she is present. That didn't really go well together. I need to work on that. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about year 12 because I've been seeing posts on Instagram about A-level advice, and I was thinking, what advice do I have for A-level? Let's just get into it. Tip number 1, organisation. So I know you've probably heard it everywhere, but this is serious, guys. Like, A-levels, you thought GCSE was a lot of work, and you did like 10 plus subjects. And what I was thinking is that, yes, A-levels, 3 to 4 subjects, easy job. I'm going to have so much more free time. I am going to be free. Well, I actually was so much busier. And yeah, I just want to say that because that's what I thought, and so maybe someone else is thinking the same, and I'm going to say, no, you're going to be even busier probably. So, but the tip was organisation. I was talking about organisation. Yeah. Be organised because there's a lot of stuff coming for you. Yeah, but for me, I wish I knew earlier is to really, like, are you a messy person? Like, be honest with yourself. Are you messy? Because I wasn't honest with myself and I said I would be organised, and for year 12 I was organised, but for year 13 I was all over the place. If you're messy, I would say one thing is that try to keep your notes on your laptop or on your iPad, like digital, as soon as possible. Like, if you don't organise your notes in the folder like regularly, then you're going to lose the notes, or you're going to get really messy with the notes and you are going to regret it big time, like me. So I ended up for year 13 writing all my notes on my iPad, but that was the last 5 months-ish. I really wish I did it earlier because it kind of changed everything for me. Why are we still using paper? Like, how many trees do we need to cut down? You know, how? Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've used so much paper, I feel so guilty. So guilty. And I've got a lot of past papers that I printed that I don't actually need right now. So if you're looking for past papers and you want me to send them to you, I've got them. Tip number 2 is make sure to use the specification. I did OCR economics, and like, the spec was basically my... Like, I love the spec so much for economics OCR because it had every single bullet point. It was so good. But AQA psychology the spec was so vague. That wasn't really good. But use it from the start and always go back to it because all the questions in exams are going to use like keywords from the spec. So make sure you read it throughout the year. If you start in year 12, by year 13 you're probably going to know it inside out. It's part of exam technique, I think. Make notes around it. It will actually help you. Tip number 3 is also about examiner reports. Make sure you read them, highlight them. I would probably do it like whenever you want to procrastinate. Sometimes you just don't feel like working and you want to be productive as well. Then I would say, why not just grab an examiner report, look at the key point. Like, for example, for psychology, my teacher told me to use issues and debate points a lot. But when I read the exam report, they said so many students were using issues and debates points, and that was just like hinting that they're lazy and stuff. So the examiners don't actually like people using that many issues and debates points, but my teacher was telling me to use them. So like, you have to kind of be a bit careful and like make sure you read those reports because they're so important and they can help you so much. Yeah. Tip number 4 is basically, again, revise exam technique as you go. I think one reason why I did really well for economics A-level throughout the year, not just because I'm going to study in uni, but because my teacher made us do essays throughout the year, and so that's kind of exam technique because like essays are a big chunk of most A-levels, I think. So making sure you do regular exam questions, essay questions, exam technique stuff. I forgot who I heard it from, but like the exam content is like 20% of your marks, and its exam technique is probably 80% of, you know, your grade or something. So yeah, don't look lightly on exam technique, and sometimes exam content is important, but if you don't know how to use it in the exam, then there is no point. Tip number 5 is to use your free periods effectively and productively. Best time to just, because you're at school, you're kind of in the study mode, maybe it's going to be harder at home, it's definitely harder for me. If you make the most in free periods, then you can chill when you're home. It's just going to be so much better if you use study periods effectively throughout year 12 and not just in year 13. And another tip, which kind of doesn't relate to you guys but kind of does, is that if you are not in the mood to study and you are sitting next to a year 13 who is revising, please don't just chat and like not consider other people. Maybe use like your year 13 student who's studying as motivation to study yourself and not just continue chatting, because sometimes when you're in year 13 you are going to be stressed, and when you're stressed it's a bit, yeah. Tip number 6 is to research opportunities by yourself. Don't rely on your school to find these work experience opportunities for you, summer school work experience for you. Summer school work experience? No. Summer school experiences like Sutton Trust, Unique, all the work experience and all the summer schools I applied for, I researched it by myself from Google. I did not wait for my teachers or school to send me an email about it, because they did not do that. Definitely do your own research. Just don't rely so much on other people helping you, supporting you, because in A-level it's like GCSE you probably get more support, but for A-level you really have to start to look after yourself. And then university, I guess I probably need to look after myself a lot more, but I will tell you when the time comes and when I actually experience it, which is going to be fun. I'm excited to be independent. Well, I don't know if I can do it, but we'll see. Tip number 7 is to basically really take the time to think about what type of learner you are. Like for me, I know that writing notes is not helping me unless it's like really visual notes, which take a ton of time. But sometimes even though I know that notes don't help me, like just blank notes with no photos or pictures, I still do them. Why do I do them? I guess because it's the easiest and it's kind of a way to procrastinate, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something but I'm actually not effectively revising. If you know that notes aren't going to help you, don't focus on making notes. Your teachers might force you to make notes because they do folder checks and stuff. For me, I revise from basically talking to myself as well as looking at pictures. And if you know that a technique isn't working for you, stop doing it. It's not worth wasting your time. You would rather use that time to do something you enjoy, like drawing. Tip number 8 is to use YouTube to help, because for economics I used Econ Plus Dull and Tutor to You basically for my whole A-level. Psychology was a bit more of the textbook stuff. But honestly, you can learn so much by yourself. Definitely use YouTube to your advantage. Tip number 9 is to use revision guides, because if you're not a notes person and you don't really like making notes, then revision guides help a lot. I even bought notes as well because I didn't want to make notes, but I ended up making notes even though I bought notes, which was kind of a waste of money, to be honest. Invest in things that you will use and not in things that you don't use. But for GCSE, I bought so many revision guides, and some I didn't even touch. So please buy stuff that you will use and don't waste money. Tip number 10 is about whether think clearly if you're going to drop an A-level. I didn't drop an A-level, so I kept at 4. Look, most people are okay with it. Most people can deal with it. For me, it was so hard. 4 A-levels for me was really hard, and I don't want to say I regret, because I needed that A-level to get into uni. But I didn't do well in it, I'll be honest. So if you're going to do 4 A-levels and the 4th A-level is something that you know you can do it, or you really enjoy doing it and you believe you can do it, then go for it. But if you're doing 4 A-levels just because you think universities are going to like you more, then I would say don't do it, or reconsider, or think a bit more, because it is stressful. It's stressful. So yeah, learn how to manage stress and manage time, especially after mocks for year 12, because then you would start to focus on uni applications. And I would say that the jump from year 12 to year 13 for me was so much harder than the jump from GCSE to year 12, because I think because mainly it's uni applications and A-levels that you have to do, so two things, and that uni applications are important, especially if you're applying for subjects where you need to do extra tests. It's just really, it is stressful sometimes, but it's also fun and exciting. So I think knowing how to manage stress, but also knowing how to manage time so you don't get behind on A-levels is kind of important, because I think I focused a lot on the uni application process that made me neglect a bit of my A-levels, that made me fall behind on my fourth A-level, that made me do bad in my fourth A-level, that made me tell you to reconsider if you should do a fourth A-level. That doesn't actually make that much sense, but yeah, you get what I mean. Tip number 11, 12, 13, I don't remember. If you can, read one book. Like, if you don't read, at least read one book a month about like the course you want to do in uni, because it won't just help you know more that you can write in your personal statement, like you don't have to like cram in all the books at once, but also it will help you with your A-levels in general. Like if you, like for me, reading economics books really helped with my A-level economics, because I had some special stuff to talk about that isn't in the syllabus. So definitely, if you can, read one book a month at least about the subject, because it will help. But this is optional, but it's also really interesting to know more about your subject because you're choosing it for uni, right? Tip number, I don't know, make a revision plan, a rough one. Now for me, timetables, like I hardly stick to timetables, and I'm learning to, because I really think they are really, planning is really important. Timetables are good and I'm trying to work on it, but I think if you can, definitely have a timetable. What I did have, at least, which helped me a lot, is have a plan, a rough plan. However rough it is, just make sure you have a plan. It's just, yeah, you know what a plan is. And the last tip I have is to stop, or don't compare yourself with other people in the class, because for me, I can openly say that for further maths, I would say I'm probably the worst. Like, there were only 5 people in my class, but I'm the bottom. I'm really sure I'm the bottom in my class. And well, that's because they're all really good, like super good, amazing people. So sometimes when you know that you're really bad in your class, even though it's only 5 people, it does feel bad, and you feel sad, and you feel like you're just dumb and stuff. So it doesn't feel good, so don't do that, and focus on yourself. And at the beginning, at the beginning you might get C's and D's. I got D's for maths throughout year 12 until my mocks. I got an like A, but it was like, yeah, just don't, if you don't do the best compared to other people, it's completely fine. And don't stress, just focus on yourself, work hard, have a clear goal and work towards it. Don't give up, be consistent, and yeah. They are my tips. I hope it helped. I hope they were a little bit different from other people's videos, and please give a like and subscribe, because every video I try to make it the best I can, at the standard I am at. I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, because I'm always active there and I always show just like a bit of drawing and stuff and daily inspiration. You can always DM me there. I'm always active, and I always reply to DMs and comments. So yeah, until next time.